I'm going to give you $10,000. What are you
You
going to
are?
do with it? Yep.
You can give me 10 grand?
But you
If
have
I
to
had
spend it on
10,
your firm.
I want to talk about what I'd spend it on first. That's more fun. I would buy a motorcycle.
Oh, what kind?
I have no idea. Just sounds like fun.
There you go.
Actually, no, if I had 10 grand, I'd take my wife to Paris. Yeah. She
Yeah,
deserves a trip like that.
make sure she watches this one.
I don't think 10 grand is going to really cover it, though.
Yeah,
Depends where you stay. Like if you go out there and you stay in the fanciest places, you're going to blow through that real fast.
That's right. As long as you can
What about
see
you?
the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. What about
I
you?
would probably buy, man, I don't know. I'd probably buy more landscaping because that's the mode I'm in right now.
Such a dad answer.
I know.
So
That's
I'd
the mode I'm
probably
in.
put that into the lawn. I'd
Yeah.
put that into the sprinkler system. I'd take down those pine trees that have been killing my grass.
It is summertime dad season, and so it is all about the lawn and landscaping and making shit look nice.
I
So,
planted
yeah.
one last week. I planted I don't remember what it's called. Something my wife picked out, and it died within like a day. And my wife says it's in shock, and you're supposed to leave it there. But I don't know. I put it in some good compost, and even poured some fancy stuff on it, and maybe it's the fancy stuff that killed it. I don't know.
Maybe you need an arborist for that 10 grand.
So that's what I'm saying. I do. I think I do. I would actually. I'm going to take it back. I don't want a motorcycle. I still want to take my wife to Paris, and I want an arborist to come out and do a full. We had a tree that choked itself. Have you ever had this?
No. Oh,
Its
with
roots.
the oh no.
No, the roots wrapped itself around and choked it. Like the arborist was out there, and he's like, "Yeah, it choked itself." I said, "What'd you say?" He said, "Yeah, it choked itself."
Wow.
You're full
Never
of
heard of
shit.
that.
He's like, "No, that's what it did." All right, so if you had 10 grand for your firm, is the question really? If you had 10 grand for your firm, how might you spend it? So I have some ideas.
Let's hear it.
I think if I had 10 grand, I would invest in some marketing that I've never felt comfortable spending money on. And I would do it for a period of 3 months, which I'm sure that 10 grand will go pretty quick in 3 months. But I would do it over 3 months with some sort of an expectation that at the end of 3 months, I should have more clients or more ideal clients, or I should be getting there's some return that I would point that 10 grand to, preferably clients, right?
Yep.
And more of the ideal ones that are willing to spend more for the expertise and pricing that you offer. And so I think that's one thing. Now I'll go, you go. How about you?
Okay. I think I would fire 10 grand worth of shitty clients.
So you would pocket that 10 grand to make up for the missing clients?
Because that would then create the time for me to go build a kick-ass firm.
Yeah, right.
And I wouldn't worry about cash flow, that extra 10 grand. Or maybe it's just one client, one real PETA client.
One real nasty one.
And I hadn't fired him yet because I was worried about cash flow, paying the bills,
Totally.
payroll.
That's a good one.
So
it's a net zero in relation to having to get rid of a client and having that extra revenue that came through this $10,000 gift. And because of all the energy and time you now have, you can go out and find a client to replace it that probably would be paying you more than 10 grand and you'd actually enjoy serving.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a pretty good answer.
That was off the top of my head.
You should have saved that for the end. That should have been the mic drop at the end.
Well, I'm out of ideas now, so
I'd say I'd put 10 grand into an operations manager or a project manager.
Yeah.
Because we've heard this for a while now, but the buzz is, you don't have to hire an accountant to help your accounting firm. You can hire someone without an accounting background to come in and help you. But to have someone like just do all the things that, a firm owner spends so much time doing that could be done by someone else, but because it's their firm and because it's their profit, they tend to be a little hesitant to invest in anyone that isn't client facing. Mm-hmm. So having like in 10 grand would get you maybe 2 months of someone like that. But just to go through a season with someone minding the house, minding the billing, minding the AR, minding the client onboarding, someone who's making sure that all the forms and files have been received and making sure things are going out on deadlines and time, like just being able to take that out of an owner's head and putting in someone's job is just to do that. I think it would be money extremely well spent. And I can remember before I had an assistant. I can remember after I haven't had an assistant. And before I had an assistant, I had these humble roots that I'm not deserving of a executive assistant. I don't need to do that. I can do it myself. And then I got one. Her name was Katrina. She was a rock star. And Katrina made my life so much easier. Booking things, scheduling things, reporting things, communicating things, like just like I got split in two and but I was a full person still with what was left and was able to do so much more. So I would do either operations or project manager or admin assistant.
I like that because that could free up time, not your time, but allow you to execute on some of the ideas that you have that you don't have time to execute on, like
Mm-hmm.
the big firm ideas that you're wanting to do, new engagement letters or
Whatever.
new process, whatever, and that could free up time to execute
All
with
right, your
that.
turn.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think your first point, marketing. I think I would figure out how to test social media ads and start running ads and seeing what
Mm,
works, seeing if I get an ROI on that, and if I do, then I just keep pouring money on that.
yeah,
Typically, people don't spend money on ads because they don't have extra money to spend on ads.
sure.
So use that
Well,
to
but they're
start testing.
hesitant though because it just feels like maybe they've heard or maybe they've seen or maybe they just assume that their chances of return on that is low. So, but if they had tangible evidence of if I spend for ad, I get X number of clients or at least leads, verified leads, then, that would make that connection. And once they've got an extra 5 clients, they're going to be willing to invest more into that
Yeah,
advertisement.
and once you've developed that lead flow,
Mm-hmm.
the sky's the limit.
Right. I would spend 10 grand on a booth and
That's where I was going.
preferred speaking at a conference full of my niche. So if I was working with HVAC guys, or if I was working with public accountants, or if I was working with doctors or dentists, I would spend 10 grand to be at like their premier conference that they have nationally in Vegas. And I'd buy a nice booth right in the center, which 10 grand wouldn't afford you one in the center, but nice booth at least. And I would sit there and I would sell the living shit out of what I did to my niche. And I would make sure that anyone who passed by me got a brand new pen with my name on it and maybe whatever little football, whatever they give out now these
There you
days.
go. Yeah.
And they'd all be thinking, man, that guy, I didn't know that there was an accountant that did that and just focuses on me. And that's amazing. They must be experts. And then I'd come out of it, and out of the maybe 50 people that I contacted, 10 actually would follow up with me. And of those 10, maybe 3 actually turned out to be clients. And each of them would pay more than most of my clients because pricing power and niche power. And they saw me as one of them. And then because I went so well, I would spend that 10 grand every year. And each there from then on, I would be seen more as like them, and they would expect to see me. And I would be getting more and more of my niche clients that I would be able to promote a higher price and a higher value, less hours, fewer clients, and be happy.
I love it because that's the direction I was going to actually was,
I stole it from you.
but mine was running your own event, a seminar or a conference locally within your niche.
Nice.
I don't know if you could get it done with 10 grand. Depends on how nice you wanted to make it, but with your marketing and everything, but same reasons, creating that niche, that brand, that pricing power by talking to those people in that specific industry or solving that same problem.
I'd spend 10 grand on a kegerator foosball table and a video game for the office so that I would boost the culture of the firm and everyone would see it as a place that they would want to be instead of not want to be. And I would have contests each week on who got the high score on whatever. And we would have Friday happy hours where we would change the keg out, hopefully not that frequently, but we'd have a seasonal brew and summer brew and winter brew and Dale's Pale on tap otherwise. But I do something that really boosted the culture and made it more of a place that my team wanted to be a part of and was excited to be at and would want to promote.
Since we didn't come up with this beforehand, I'm just going to keep playing off you. What if you invested in education for your staff?
Ooh, that's fun.
Like where do they want to go in the firm? They want to be more in tax. Okay. Find a tax course for them. They want to go from admin to bookkeeper. All right, let's get them trained to be a bookkeeper.
I would do a little bit. So I think if you took that 10 grand and let's say split it among 3 of your staff resources, I'd go beyond just kind of like that typical CPE. I'd actually send them somewhere. Like I'd send them somewhere where they would learn not just some technical, but also some, leadership, management, more of that smarter, I call it. Some people call it soft or power skills is what I tend to call it too, but somewhere where they can really develop as a professional. So when they came back, not only would they hopefully be a little bit technically better in whatever it might be, but I would start to see them take more ownership, more leadership, like really get in front of the clients more, want to help more, be involved with strategy more. So I love that one. It's a good one.
Yep.
10 grand, tech stack is in my head, usually is, not lately more than usual. But I would spend 10 grand on some form of AI. And, I would say, put that into agentic AI, or put that into some sort of software that I've been holding off buying because of the cost of it or the integration of it, and really try to get my team integrated into something that created efficiencies, so that 10 grand came back to me in spades, because all of our processes were under one software, or it's at least communicating, and created more capacity and less headache for my team in a busier time, so that not necessarily so I had more capacity to sell into, but just so they had a better experience in doing the work they did. I'm thinking like not like SafeSend, but it's just some stuff that just really automates the process and makes it
Sure.
easier for the team.
Yeah. If it were me and I were going that direction, I would probably put that 10 grand in the bank and wait for agentic AI to make a few more leaps and then spend it. I don't know if I'd blow a bunch of money right now.
A little early.
Little early, just slightly. Wait till the big firms spend all the money on it, or Intuit spends all the money on it, and then take it from there.
I got another one.
Take the last mile.
I got another one. I'd do a $10,000 client celebration, and I would rent out a movie theater, and we'd play The Accountant 2, which was in theaters. I know you don't know that, but The Accountant 2 is, and we'd have a showing of this movie. I'd buy beer and food for everyone that was in the theater, but it would be all clients. And before the movie started, I would get up and I would say, I'm so grateful for you all, and thank you for being my clients. This would really make you root out those nasty ones, right? Because you don't want to invite them to the client celebration.
Fair. Yeah, that's a good filter.
Who would you invite to a celebration? It's a great way to make a list of clients that you might want to get rid of, right? Like, not that one, not that one. But I'd say something to them and appreciate them. And every one of those clients would walk out of there and they would value our relationship just a little bit more, maybe a lot more, for what, I appreciated them for being and doing for me and the firm and my people and my family and all that good stuff.
That would definitely make the relationship less transactional if you did something like that. Yeah. A little stickier.
I know. Not necessarily like vests. I'm a big hat. You're a big hat guy. I know that. But maybe like a hat with a brand on it.
There you go. Yeah.
Or just maybe something unique, here's one. This would be too expensive. The 10 grand would go fast. But get like shotguns with like the brand of the firm, like on the stock or something, like burnt into the side of it. And
for clients or staff?
Yeah, for clients mostly, or really good referral sources.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Okay, thank you for that. So I would put 10 grand into a great gift that I would give for referrals. And so I'd buy 100 of like those big Yeti bags, and I'd have the Yeti logo on it, and then I'd have my logo on it too, so you can hold all your stuff you want to keep cold. And when I got a really good referral that turned into a client, I would give this like $300, $500 bag or cooler to that referral source. And I say this from experience because I got a Yeti bag from someone I referred work to.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it sticks with me. I mean, I still remember it. Still opening it, like, what the fuck is this? And finding out it came from someone I referred to work to. And I was like, that was really nice. And so, like today, I sent a referral gift to someone who sent me some work, and it's become kind of a thing. So I put 10 grand into a solid referral gift.
There you go. I think the point is, if you had 10 grand, which you could do if you increase prices, you can do whatever you want and increase and improve the firm. So raise prices.
I think the key is being intentional about it. Right? If you get that windfall client, if you get that one that came in at a really high price with a ton of profit in it, like, it's really easy just to move right into the next thing and go get that next client. But you can earmark or dog ear some of those opportunities to do something that really, really helps the firm. Like, really, really makes a difference in your clients' lives and your referrals' lives and your team's lives and your life. But you have to be intentional about it, because otherwise it just goes into the pot and it gets burnt by something. And I know that these firms don't have budgets. I'm sorry. I'll call you on your bullshit if you say you do. Like, you may have a budget, which is a revenue projection that you bump 10% every year. And then all the expenses you just carry over at exactly what they were, plus another 10%. Imagine that. But like, actually to put a line on them on your budget that says $10,000 investment, and identify that as to what you're going to spend it on in a very positive way for the experience you have in owning your firm and for those who work with you. I think it's a good takeaway from this, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. I love it.
So do that. Go spend 10 grand.
Done. Awesome.
I'll see you in Paris.
Deal. See you there. All right.
Cheers.